Hi guys, welcome back. It's Dave here. So today we have a video on this, which is the Honey Badger from CnC Tac. I will be just disassembling it, not fully, only partly. I'll do the trigger box fully later down the line and show you everything in it, and then I'll put it back together. Probably give it some lube. So we'll start off by taking off this light, which is one of my go-to torches. Take off the rail covers. These are BCM rail covers. And we'll take off this Fortis grip. There we go. Right, we'll start by taking the upper and lower apart, and then we will go from there. So first of all, we want a mallet and a pin to push this lower one out. There we go, that's the lower all the way over there, upper, sorry, all the way over there. And we will do the same with the lower pin. There you go. Now you have upper and lower. We will start by doing the pistol grip. Let's go with pistol grip first. If it would kindly fit in the hole, which it's not doing, because I've got the wrong size bit. That was smart of me, wasn't it? There we go, see? Nice and easy. Quite. There we go. So that's off, we'll put that and that to the side. Then we'll start with the stock next. The CnC Tac comes with this little handy tool which has multiple bolts. Can't remember what they're called, but they go in all of the parts, so it's quite useful to have this. So this unlocks the stock, like so. And that should unscrew with the fingers now. Now we've taken out the end cap of the buffer tube, that, and then the stock should slide off nice on its own. Put that back together. And then this bit will just hand loosen, and the buffer spring and buffer cap, there you go, comes with it. There's a little spring there, and I'm going to put that in there so I don't lose that. Right, now we have the lower pretty much completely disassembled from the buffer and pistol grip and the upper. So we'll start off by taking out the trigger. So you want to put it all the way to full, give it a little bit of a push. I'm 90% sure it has to be like that. Come on, the other way around, always to safe. Nah, it's always to full, isn't it? Give it a nice push. There we go. It's not between semi and full, and then you bring it all around to safe and up and backwards, and you just keep twisting it until it comes out. So that's that out, and then there is a little Allen key behind the trigger box, just in there. That comes out to remove the trigger box. There we go. It's a bit fiddly. Get that back out. go, that's out. Luckily I have my trusty magnet here to keep all of my screws safe. Then we'll start with the safety mag catch, sorry. So I normally put the screwdriver or something like this in the safety up against my body and then just loosen it like that. Eventually it will be smooth and you can just do it until the whole thing does that. And be careful with this side because the spring will fire out. There you go, so that's that sorted. And now you've got the trigger pin, so that just pops out as so. Oh, sorry, wrong way around. There we go, and that's out. And then, luckily for us, this is a GM. I'll just take out the buffer pin stop as well. This is a GM trigger box, so all it does is that. And those of you know that TM trigger boxes are one of the biggest pains to ever take out because they are basically welded into the welded into the bottom of this, and it is horrendous to try and get it out. Right, there we have the Z plate there. Got a GM Geisley trigger, the amp bolt release, and you've got the trigger box. Now this trigger box is, I believe it's a complete GM trigger box. If not, then all of the parts in it are GM and it's in a stock TM trigger box. So I think we have enough time to quickly run through this very, very quickly. Bolt 1. Bolt 2. Bolt 3, and this you turn it over to the other side and it will just slowly pop up like that. Now there is a little kind of pin, I can't remember what you call them, pin washer here, or a wire washer here. So you just shove that back in there and then you can take out all of these bits. So this is the trigger assembly. This is the hammer assembly here, and those are the semi and auto sears. I will take out quickly and show you. So that is one of the assembly parts. This, I won't take out this because it's an absolute pain in the arse to put back in. But you can see here that you've got the roller here for the hammer and hammer assembly. You've got the trigger assembly, which comes into these 1, 2. Blast. Spring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. And the trigger assembly is really easy to put back together. That just sits in a little groove there. That goes back on top of it. And then you have this hollow pin, like a tube stock, that goes back in there. Nice and easy. You've then got this spring that goes here. This then goes on top of it. It goes on top of the hollow pin, so it's probably easier to put it in that little hole, groove nub that you can see there. Put it in the guide and then slot it in nicely like that. There you go, that's a pin. So the trigger assembly back, and that just goes in there like that. And that part here has to align with the back end of the trigger, so it has to go forward. There you go. There you go, in. Now we're going to put this back in like that. There's a little nub on this side that aligns with this groove here, so you've got to put that in there. And the easiest way I find to do this is that you take it out, you slot it in there, put it back in, and then just hook it over. But this has to come in, so now that it's all in nicely, all you do is you hold it down with one finger and push with the other, and over it slides. There you go, it's in. And then just push it down with something like an Allen key to make sure it's in. And there you have it. Now remember that this bit is there, so take it. I normally do it this way, so that it's all slots in nicely. There you go. Everything's back in, and you can turn it the other way again and put the 3 screws in. And you go, those 3 screws are in now. And you can tighten them up. Same with the last and third one. And then luckily for us, all that this needs doing is slotting back in. I did take the liberty of oiling it up a little bit earlier. I took it apart and cleaned the gun, but I will put a little bit more oil in some of the joints and some of the moving parts. Put a tiny bit in there and a tiny bit in there. Some on the roller at the back. Pin. I believe that's good enough. And then all it does is it slots back in with the Z plate, of course. I forgot to do the Z plate multiple times. Goes that way round, hooks onto that little bit there, and then into here. And at the same time you can put the bolt release on this side. Sorry, probably better to put the bolt release first. Spring guide goes in that little hole here, goes over, and then all you have to do is hold it with your little finger on the other side while that goes in, and slots in, he says, to that bit there, that part of the Z plate, like that, see? And then once you've aligned it properly, you're in. See, all works still. There you go. Right, let's put the fire selector in, back round to safe, and in, twist all the way up to there, and then on the other side there is a little spring pin which I tend to hold in with an Allen key. Just force it in like that, and then you're fine. Rack it round to safe again. Then I will do the trigger pin. Done. Then we will do the bolt release. So spring goes in this side. What I find is it's easier to do the opposite. So mag release goes all the way in, sorry, not bolt release. Then this bit you start turning the way around, only 2 or 3 turns like that, align it, do the same trick that I said earlier, that in against your chest, and then you can twist this, and then when you twist it, it will get tighter. It's easier to start it the way that I just did. There we go. That should be in line now. Nice. Then you've got one more screw, which is this one at the back, which goes for the back of the trigger box, which in this case we will need. Normally on regular TM trigger boxes in a regular TM shell or a lower receiver, I don't bother putting this in because they're Phillips heads, so I either change them to Allen keys bolts, or I just don't put them in because they are such a pain to get out. They don't actually need to be secured in that much. There you go, nice and in. Now we will put the buffer back in. So spring goes back in here. Buffer stop goes back there. The buffer stop does actually have to go onto the spring. There you go. Hand tighten this all the way. And then you've got stop that goes on top here. There you go, that's locked in place, so I will do that. That comes all the way out. Buffer cap on. And this is the pin. You need to make sure that you align the spring inside with the pin, otherwise if it's not, it will go all over the place and you'll break it. And people have got their buffers stuck in the buffer spring before and not knowing what to do, so they end up just cutting off the buffer tube, which is not the smartest thing I've ever seen. There we go. Lowers complete, minus the pistol grip, which I will put on now. Up it goes. And there we go, pulling back the pistol grip into place. There we go. Now I will put that over here while we look at the upper. So take the bolt out and the charging handle. Now this is a GM complete bolt, and as you see I do need to lube it up, and that is because I cleaned the inside of it a while ago, and again, this is the part of the tool that comes very handy. It was covered in muck from a friend that I lent it to. I lent it to him and he has dogs, and there was dog hair. Sorry, I swore again. There was dog hair inside most of the gun. There you go, that comes out. Rail comes off lovely. This is just hand tight. It was supposed to be hand tight, and they have over tightened it. Okay, I'll give my grips and undo that a little bit. There we go. Off that comes. Slowly does it. And then off with it should come. There we go. Slightly awkward angle, but yeah, there we go. And we have CnC Tac hop-up chamber with a flamingo pink backing in it. And then, I don't know what barrel that is, that might be a modified barrel. And goes back in here. And at the bottom here we have a CnC Tac hop-up adjuster. A little tiny screw there, and if you listen, once it's out, it falls all the way to the bottom. Oh, that was the screw. And that was the hop-up chamber. So here we have the CnC Tac CnC hop-up chamber, which is actually very nice. It's one of my favourite hop-up chambers by far. There's a bit of gunk there, excuse me. There we go. That's it, got that. And put this back in. Slide it all the way down. Choo. All the way down to put the screw, and hold it with one finger, drop the screw in, and the screw will find its place eventually. It should find its place, it's meant to. Obviously it's not that good at finding its place. There we go. The CnC Tac adjuster was not in the right place. There we go. There we go. Tighten it up. There you go. Slide the barrel back in. Make sure that the silver bar here goes under the blue bit in here, because as you push the hot wheel down, this pushes on it and changes the hot. Tying this up by hand again, making sure not to let go of the outer barrel so it doesn't fall out, where you've just aligned it. Outer rail goes on. This little three-piece thing, goes back in here, and you just adjust it like that. I may be going the wrong way. There you go, that's done. Now I will put a bit of lube on the inside here, because I failed to put some in before. Put some on here as well. Put the charging handle back in. That will eventually lube itself up, like it already has been doing. A bit more on here, because that's where I can see the wear. A tiny bit here as well, because that's where I can see wear. There you go, already that's running smoother. Now to put the lower back on. This is an extremely stiff pin. When he lowers the uppers on, when the uppers off, it is completely fine. And there you go, there we have it. Back all together. And it works completely fine. We've even got a magazine here that needs a little bit of gassing. Give me a second. we go. Go to semi. For some reason the bolt lock doesn't work 100% on semi, or full auto apparently, but look how fast that is. There you go, back now. And even on semi, oh, it's run out of gas, but that is how fast it is. And that is the CnC Tac Honey Badger. Thank you guys very much for watching. I've hoped you enjoyed it. Hopefully I'll be able to take this to a field not too soon, not too long away, sorry, and you'll be able to see it in action. Thank you very much. I hope you have a great day. If there's anything else you'd like to see, please let me know. Tell me and I will try and get it out.